All right, guys.
Hey, Bill, on Devontae, I hope I can ask this more properly. So the face of the program goes from being Stone-Face Frank to, Jolly, whatever.
Yeah.
Devontae, how does that, I'm teasing, but I mean, how does that change the complexion of things? Does it?
No, I don't think it does at all. I'm not. Frank was our best player last year, and certainly got a lot of deserved credit. But I still think Devontae last year was the personality of our team. He and Josh probably more so than anybody. So him being the face of the team, I don't think is going to be a surprise or anything that anybody's going to have to make a conscious effort either to see it that way or for him to act differently. I think that's just who he is.
And you've talked to him some about sort of being more the guy now, I guess.
Yeah,
but what does anything really need to change in his game? Maybe a little more aggressive to the hoop. But
I think the biggest thing is he's a point guard that's basically just been a combo guard since he's been there. So being the primary handler and the guy that has to initiate and still yet score and has to get other guys shot, and when offense breaks down he's got to go get fouled. And I mean, there's a lot of things he's going to have to do that Frank did very, very well for us last year that he's never had to do yet.
You've talked about the experience of your team before, and you got a couple young guys obviously, but by and large pretty experienced team. I mean,
yeah, well, we're experienced in if you count Malik as an experienced guy because
Sure.
he's played 1 year, we're experienced at 4 guard spots, and then we're really inexperienced at the other 4 positions. Marcus Garrett has none. Mitch has relatively none. Udoka has very little, and then of course Billy has none. So I think we have a blend. Hopefully, it's a good blend of young guys that are inexperienced and that are going to kind of have to learn the ropes. Where we have some veterans that have been through a lot of battles.
what's the biggest advantage of that? I mean, obviously those guys have been around you. You've been around them, but how about on the court? I mean, where does that experience advantage kick in?
Last year I thought we played like a veteran team because, our season could have not been the season we had because we were involved in a lot of close games,
Sure.
and we were able to win some games, and we also won some games we probably shouldn't have won where we had big deficits. So I think experience played a role in that. So the biggest thing is you want your guys to play old. And primarily because it puts them in a position where you win close games. I'd say that's the biggest thing.
Does Devontae handle the spotlight, the attention as well as anybody you've coached?
Yeah, I think so. He likes it. He's it was who drew the shortest straw had to meet with the media last year. With Frank. Hey Frank, you had 30. Yeah, but God. With Devontae'd have 2. Oh no, I'll go do a coach. So I'd say that's one of the biggest differences.
You said earlier too that part of why he came back, he loves college.
Yeah.
How do you see that? I mean, because he's not a normal college student. He just can't.
I think he's the most popular kid on campus, and of course I don't know that positively, but you guys are on campus, aren't you? Is there anybody on campus more popular than Devontae, or more visible? So I think he's different. Like he'll go. I mean, they tell me like if he didn't have anything to do, he may go sit in the union, just go talk to people. Just hang out. So you don't see very many college athletes doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wolsby said earlier he hasn't sensed any momentum to make a permanent waiver for the exhibition charity thing. You're in on this probably a little bit more than him. Do you sense any momentum?
No, not permanent. I don't. The way that it got through this year, because I was in on the call, being part of that oversight committee, was we're going to do it because of the catastrophic things that occurred. It goes against their bylaws to just say, okay, we'll play another game. So there has to be a reason. And the reason was good, and they said we could have many things moving forward that would warrant, something like this too. But we're not just going to give it a blanket thing to say men's basketball can play a 3rd exhibition game. We're not going to do that. And if there is anything moving forward in that, it'll be done under the same, with the same reasons in mind that it took place this year.
You've got a lot of sway in the sport, obviously. I mean, would you be in favor of making something like this, like every year, just to help, not necessarily like a catastrophic, like the hurricanes, but
absolutely,
big brothers and sisters, or whatever?
absolutely. I think I think there's a lot of things that need to be thought through on it. Is like where the money would go and all these things. Even though it seems simple, but could somebody use it for recruiting advantages and things like that? So I think there's some things that have to be thought through. But yeah, I would be all for it, doing something like for us. We budget our 2 exhibition games in. So we're not going to be, I mean, our school can't say, okay, here's $500,000 we're just going to give away. But they can if they got that budget in and they're not counting on anything else. I can't see a reason why schools can't contribute this particular game or the third game to a very worthy cause. And that would be very positive for everybody.
When you look at how Sunday was executed, the pay-per-view sales, the texting, was it run about as perfect as you could have dreamed of? And if you could tweak anything about it?
Oh, I wasn't in on the know enough to tweak it. All I wanted to do was do it, and then Sean Lester and our administration and Missouri's administration took over after that. So and Shane obviously, but yeah, I thought it was cool because I don't notice everything during timeouts and stuff, but I thought having different student athletes be on the big screen there talking about how the storms have affected them and their families and stuff like that. I think those are all great stories, and they need to be heard and certainly told a lot more.
Almost 2 million raised. Are you at all surprised? I mean, I know you talked north of $1 million, but that's
no. I thought 1.3.
Okay.
I thought 1.3 would, because I figured we'd get 200,000 from pay-per-view. I had no idea we'd get 724,000 from pay-per-view, which is incredible. That comes out to about 18,000 people that ordered it. Of course, the way I figured it is it $40 a home or $40 a television? And if there's $40 a television, there's some bars that about 10 or 12 of them. So there's probably 5,000 that would just spend bars in both states. Which, if they're going to make money from beer sales, they should at least have to buy it. So that was good. That was good.
I have to ask, if you did it, I have to ask the question: would you be open to playing Missouri in a charity game?
If we did again, yeah. If there was something that would warrant doing something that was good for others, because what people, I think some people misinterpreted about this is if it would have been Creighton that could bring in the most money, we would have played Creighton. If it had been Washburn that could bring in the most money, we would have played Washburn. The reason we played Missouri is because it brought in the most money, and which was good for other people. But that obviously doesn't change our stance on how we feel about playing on a regular basis. But moving forward, if there's some cause out there that would be similar to this year, then yeah, I would be wide open to it.
So if there were a similar catastrophic event, Missouri weren't available, would every team be a potential? Would you consider Wichita State maybe?
God dang, we're asking a lot of hypothetical questions. It's and buts for candy and nuts. I don't know. I don't know.
What did you get out of the game? I mean, obviously that was part of it. Have you watched it much yet, or watched?
I haven't. I actually got home late, and I didn't feel like going and watching it that night. And then I recruited all day yesterday and came straight here. So I actually have not seen the game except for just short segments of it. So I'll watch it tonight. I actually thought we did some good things. I thought we did some things really poorly.
Yeah, I was going to ask, just based off feel, what do you think?
If you told me going in that we would play 15 to 20 good minutes, I would say that would be a great start. And I think we probably played 15 good minutes. I actually do think we did some good things. But we did some bad things too, obviously.
2 fouls in 27 minutes for him. Would that surprise you at all?
No, not really, because I'm not sure the officiating crew, in talking to Conzo and myself, is we hadn't even talked about not fouling yet as much. I mean, it's like, we want our guys to be physical. We want to post strong. There's so many things that we haven't emphasized to the point that we will. Just trying to get them to play hard right now. That I don't think the officials called it as close as what it would be in a regular game. So 2 fouls could easily be 5, in a real game. But yeah, that was encouraging. He didn't foul that much.
Because with him, it's not just that that was a problem for him last year, but you guys really need him to stay out of foul trouble. Is that going to be a tough kind of tightrope to walk with him?
To have him be aggressive but don't foul.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is for all guys. They can call foul on the post every possession for the most part because there's going to be contact. But he's got to do a better job of picking his spots. Where big guys get in trouble, in my opinion, is they foul 94 feet from the basket, or they foul hedging a ball screen at 37 feet. And a lot of that's done early in the season because coaches want them to get out there and do that kind of stuff. But with him, if he can just eliminate those type fouls, he's still going to foul. But those are the things that put people in foul problems, especially bigs, is when they foul when it has nothing to do with the play.
Is that intensified with a guy as big as he is? Is it more difficult, you think, for officials to kind of regulate that?
I have no idea. The officials that we have are good officials, so I don't think they take body type into account. If he leans on somebody and you're not real strong or frail, you're going to be displaced. So I guess that could be a negative for him.